Welcome to a practical setup lesson on vscode and Python setup with UV. Let us set up your tools. From this point onwards, the lessons expect you to write code in a real editor, not just IPython. This lesson walks you through setting up vscode with the Python extension and connecting it to a UV-managed virtual environment. If you already have vscode set up with Python, you can skip this lesson. If not, follow along, or search YouTube for vscode Python setup and follow a video tutorial. There are many good ones. Come back when you are done. Your workbench for the rest of the course. Here is what you need. First, Python, you already have this, you have been using it since the start of the course. Second, UV, you installed this in the IPython lessons to run UV tool install IPython. Third, vscode, a free code editor from Microsoft. Download it from code.visualstudio.com. If you have never used vscode before, I recommend searching YouTube for vscode Python setup and following along with a video. There are dozens of excellent tutorials. Watch one, set up your environment, and come back. 3 things, in order. A carpenter needs a workbench. A Python developer needs vscode with the right extension. Today we set up both. The right tools make everything easier. Step 1, install vscode. On Mac OS, download it from code.visualstudio.com. or install with Homebrew using brew install cask Visual Studio Code. On Linux, download the package for your distribution or use Snap. On Windows, download the installer. After installation, open a terminal and type code -- version to verify it is installed and on your path. If the command is not found, you may need to restart your terminal or add vscode to your path manually. Free, from Microsoft. Step 2, open a project folder. vscode works with folders, not individual files. Create a folder for your Python projects, something like project/Python learning. Navigate into it in your terminal and type code. That opens vscode with the current folder as your workspace. You can now create files, edit code, run scripts, and use the integrated terminal, all in one window. This is your workbench for the rest of the course. Folders, not files. One extension transforms vscode from a text editor into a Python development environment. The piece that connects everything. Step 3. Install the Python extension. This is the single most important step. Open vscode and click the extensions icon on the left sidebar, or press Cmd-Shift-X on Mac OS, Ctrl-Shift-X on Windows and Linux. Search for Python. You will see the official Microsoft Python extension. It is usually the first result, with millions of downloads. Click Install. This one extension transforms vscode from a text editor into a full Python development environment. One extension changes everything. Here is what the Python extension gives you. Autocomplete. As you type, vscode suggests method names, variable names, and function signatures. Error highlighting. Red squiggly lines under code that has problems, before you even run it. Go to Definition, hold CMD and click a function name to jump to its source. Hover Documentation. Hover over a function to see its docstring. Code formatting. Format your code automatically when you save. Debugging. Set breakpoints and step through your code line by line. And an integrated terminal that uses the correct Python environment. Autocomplete, linting, debugging. Step 4, and this is the critical step that connects everything together. Select the Python interpreter. When you create a UV project with UV in it, a .venv folder is created automatically. vscode needs to know to use that virtual environment. Open the command palette with Cmd-Shift-P on Mac OS or Ctrl-Shift-P on Windows. Type Python select interpreter. Choose the .venv bin Python from your project folder. In recent versions of vscode, it usually auto-detects the .venv folder and asks if you want to use it. Say yes. Now vscode uses your project's Python for everything: autocomplete, running, debugging. The critical step. Here is how the 3 pieces connect. vscode is the editor, the window you write code in. The Python extension adds Python-specific features: autocomplete, linting, debugging. The UV virtual environment provides the actual Python interpreter and installed packages. When you select the interpreter in vscode, you tell the Python extension to use the UV environment. Now, when you type import requests, vscode knows where requests lives, inside the .venv. When you run code, it uses the venv's Python. Everything is connected. 3 pieces, 1 connection. When vscode, Python, and UV are connected, every feature just works: autocomplete, linting, debugging, running. Everything works together. Let us verify your setup. Create a new file called hello.py. Type print of hello from vscode. Click the Run button in the top right corner, or press F5 to debug. You should see the output in the terminal panel at the bottom. And the terminal prompt should show .venv in parentheses, meaning vscode is using your UV virtual environment. If all 5 checks pass, your setup is correct. If the terminal does not show .venv, go back and select the interpreter again. 5 checks, then you are ready. Here is the full workflow inside vscode. Open the integrated terminal, terminal menu, new terminal, or press Ctrl backtick. Create a UV project with UV in it. Navigate into it. Add requests with UV add. Then open the project folder in vscode, File, Open Folder. vscode detects the .venv folder automatically and configures the Python extension to use it. You are ready to code. This is the workflow you will use for every project in the rest of this course. The workflow you will use daily. Here are some quality of life settings. Enable format on save. vscode formats your code automatically every time you save, keeping it clean. Auto import suggestions are usually on by default. vscode offers to add import statements when you use a module. Set your font size to 14 or 16 for comfortable reading. Set tab size to 4, which is the Python convention. Use a dark theme. Dark plus is the default and works well. And enable word wrap so long lines do not disappear off the right edge. Quality of life. If you get stuck during setup, and many people do the first time, YouTube is your friend. Search for vscode Python Setup 2025, or vscode UV Virtual Environment, or vscode Python Extension Tutorial. Watch a 10 to 15 minute tutorial and follow along on your own machine. The setup process is visual. You need to see where to click, what the menus look like, and what success looks like. A video tutorial shows that better than text. Come back to this course when your setup works and you can run hello.py from vscode. Visual learners, watch a tutorial. Once your setup is complete, you have everything you need. You have vscode with the Python extension. You can select the UV virtual environment. You can create files, run code, and see output in the integrated terminal. The next extra lesson walks you through creating a proper UV-based project, the directory structure, the commands, and the workflow you will use in every lesson from 8.9 onwards. Then 8.9 begins, real project lessons with real code. Ready for projects. Here is the final checklist. vscode is installed and opens from the terminal with code. The Python extension is installed, check the extensions panel. The integrated terminal works, press Ctrl backtick or CMD backtick. The Python interpreter is selected, check via command palette, Python select interpreter. Hello.py runs and prints output. And the terminal shows .venv in parentheses when you are inside a UV project. If all 6 items are green, you are ready. 6 items. All green. Ready. A few common issues and quick fixes. If the code command is not found, open the command palette and run shell command install code in path. If the Python extension is not offering autocomplete, check that you selected the correct interpreter. If you get module not found error when running code in vscode, you forgot to select the .venv interpreter, go to Python select interpreter and choose it. If the terminal shows the wrong Python, kill the terminal and open a new one. New terminals auto-activate the .venv. These 4 issues account for 90% of setup problems. 4 fixes for 90% of problems. Your development environment is ready. Next, create your first UV-based project. Tools ready. Projects next.